penalty.
No state has ever kept a candidate off the ballot for engaging in insurrection, so it's a big deal.
5 Marines found dead.
Their military cargo helicopter disappeared Tuesday night.
Border deal collapsed.
He shows how broken Washington, D.C. is.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, the U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments right now in a landmark case to determine if former President Trump can run for re-election. He's appealing a decision to remove him from the primary ballot in Colorado. CBS's Jan Crawford is at the High Court.
You cannot overstate the importance of this case. Donald Trump's not going to be here today. His advisors want no distractions because if he loses this case, his presidential campaign, his political career, it's over. That's the stake. Now, the Supreme Court has never considered this issue. It involves an obscure part of the Constitution, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. No person shall hold any office who took an oath as an officer of the United States, but then engaged in insurrection. Now, challenges were filed in at least 35 states arguing this clause applies to Trump because he engaged in insurrection on January 6th, and so he's disqualified from running for president. Now, Trump is saying he didn't engage in insurrection, and beyond that, Section 3 doesn't even mention presidents or apply to them. His opponents are saying, well, that's common sense, it does.
Legal analyst Lori Levinson on what may come of this.
Many scholars believe that the Supreme Court is likely to try to find some way to avoid making this decision, whether it be procedural avenues that the case should not be before the court or narrow rulings regarding what constitutes insurrection.
Breaking news this morning, the 5 U.S. Marines missing after their helicopter went down in a remote part of Southern California are dead. The crews are working now to get to their remains. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti.
Their military cargo helicopter disappeared Tuesday night during a storm. Yesterday, the helicopter was found in a remote area near the Cleveland National Forest, 12 hours after it went missing.
4-star at that location has a visual on the crash site.
The condition of the aircraft is still unclear. Search teams across multiple agencies were launched when the chopper was presumed missing.
They had to go on foot to search the area of the coordinates of the last known location of that helicopter.
The U.S. military says it carried out a drone strike in Iraq that killed the man responsible for the deadly attack on U.S. troops in Jordan. CBS News White House correspondent Nancy Cordes.
This was a strike aimed at a car in the heart of downtown Baghdad. U.S. officials say they are highly confident there was only one person in that car when it was struck, and they say that person was a senior commander in the Iran-backed militant group known as Kataib Hezbollah. U.S. officials say he was one of the masterminds behind the drone strike on a base used by U.S. forces in Jordan.
The U.S. Senate will try one more time today to break the political deadlock that's holding up aid to Ukraine and Israel. CBS's Nicole Killian reports Republicans insisted on border policy changes, then defeated a plan that did exactly that.
The motion is not agreed to.
A gut punch to negotiators who spent months crafting the border deal.
Americans are ticked off that this is not resolved, and they expect us to get things done. So why don't we do that?
My Republican colleagues changed their minds. Turns out they want all talk and no action.
Senate Republicans overwhelmingly opposed the $118 billion foreign aid bill that would implement stricter asylum reforms that they demanded.
Why not give it a chance? Why not try to tweak it, do some amendments?
So in actually, I think it could even make things worse.
Democratic leaders responded with a new package, removing the border measures but keeping $60 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel, and $10 billion in humanitarian assistance. Still, after hours of deliberation, Republicans were undecided, stalling action on the floor.
House Republicans plan to move ahead today with a second vote to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The first one failed when 3 Republicans broke ranks. You're listening to the World News Roundup. It's 4 minutes after the hour.
This is today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 39 degrees.